Bruno Fernandes there, looking like a proud dad, tapping Alejandro Garnacho on the face after what was another fantastic performance in what is a breakthrough season for Alejandro Garnacho. We are witnessing the rise of a star. And what I want to do in this video is have a conversation about how you think, how we think Erik Ten Hag is going to manage Garnacho. He's only just turned 18 years old in about 133 days, I think it is. At United, we've had so many academy players come through, and there's nothing better as a United fan, I don't think, than watching the birth of a star. And I think we've got one in Garnacho. So let's discuss everything that Ten Hag said after the game, his comments on Garnacho's performance, and how I think Ten Hag is the perfect manager for Garnacho. Timing is not everything in life, but it's important. And I think when it comes to Garnacho, when it comes to United, when it comes to Ten Hag, the moons have aligned. Things are going to head in the right direction. And yeah, wow, man. Garnacho, look, what is that, 4 games now? Is it the breakthrough performance against Sheriff, then followed that up against Sociedad, then was given the opportunity against Villa away. He was a little bit, well, everybody was in that game. Then came off the bench there against Villa in the League Cup, and wow, made the difference. An absolute difference-making performance. To the same thing twice there. But that's exactly what he is. He's a proper star. What I want to do is run through Ten Hag's post-match reaction and comments. Because I spoke about it on the live stream this morning. It was basically a compliment sandwich. He said things he did well, things he needs to improve on, and finished on a positive note. Let's take a quick look and listen to what Ten Hag is trying to do, and I suppose how he's trying to manage this breakthrough from Alejandro Garnacho.
I think it was good that he also, when he come on, that he show performance, that he has an impact in the game. Quite clear with two assists, some good dribbles, runs behind, but also some things what he has to improve. For instance, when we go for long ball, don't go into the header with Scott McTominay, go for second ball. So he has things to learn, but it's quite obvious. We are really happy with his development.
Yeah, we are.
His performance tonight, and he can contribute to this team.
Ten Hag kind of does that a lot. That's not really something he's doing specifically just for Garnacho. He's very much a man who tempers expectations and says, look, we did lots and lots well, but this needs to be improved. And it's because of the high standards and the high demands he sets of himself. He asks of his players. So I like the way he's managing that. And when it comes to Garnacho's breakthrough, there's already a couple of records or stats that he's setting that are just, they're cracking ones. He became Manchester United's youngest ever non-English goal scorer in European football, overtaking a record that had been sat there for over 60 years, made by George Best. And then against Aston Villa in the League Cup, he became the youngest player ever to assist 2 goals in a game for Manchester United. And when it comes to understanding Garnacho's breakthrough, you have to rewind to last season and that FA Youth Cup run. Manchester United winning the FA Youth Cup first time, what was it, in 10 years? Since that team, they had Pogba, Lingard. I think it was Bill Morrison in that team as well. Can't remember who it was. But Garnacho, alongside Charlie McNeil in that run to the final, 5 goals each, and he got the goal in the final that made all the difference. And if you watched that final, it was a game where it was to and fro. United were not on top, really. The last 20 minutes, Garnacho took the game by the scruff of its neck, and he won it for that team. He was named, was it Sir Matt Busby Academy Player of the Year? No, Jimmy Murphy Award. That's obviously not Sir Matt Busby, that's for the main one. And he won the FA Youth Cup. And it's been a brilliant, brilliant breakthrough. And for me, this is a really important thing, right? This is what I mean about timing. And with Ten Hag, when it comes to 18-year-olds who break through into the scene, everyone's like, it's quite easy for us to go, let's just send him to the World Cup. I'll speak about that a little bit later in the show. Do this, start him in the Premier League games. But it's like you have to manage and you have to manage it correctly. And Ten Hag has more experience than most managers in doing that, with players that he has turned from academy prospects into world-class players. And there's quite a few examples here that I'm just going to run through from Ajax. Frenkie de Jong, probably the best example. You could speak about Matthijs de Ligt as well. And of course you could speak about Donny van der Beek and all 3 of those players who broke through in that team at the same time. And Ten Hag managed them through into that occasion, helped them rise to the fact that they were in the Champions League. Well, they obviously got knocked out in the semi-finals. But then in the latest reiteration of his team, Jurrien Timber came through and Ryan Gravenberch. And there are other players as well that I could use as examples. I'm just using these 5. But for me, that gives me real hope and belief that Erik Ten Hag will know how to manage this situation. He'll know what the right things are for Garnacho to do, to not do. And the standards that he holds himself to, Garnacho has to hold himself. The standards that Ten Hag holds himself to, Garnacho's going to have to do that himself. And of course, he didn't particularly do that at the start. That's why it's taken a little bit longer for him to come through. But I tell you what, he would have learned from that, and he'll probably never do it again. Because now look at the opportunities he's getting when the attitude has changed. And the attitude was something that Ten Hag spoke about a little bit later in that press conference.
It depends on how.
And he was asked whether or not Garnacho can have an impact on United this season.
How his approach, how his attitude. When he keeps working, keep this attitude, yeah, then it's possible that he
absolutely
keeps in attitude. He wants to improve every day. When he's doing the right things in his lifestyle, yeah, then it's possible. Because you see, he has capabilities and what contributes to attacking football.
And that's a big thing because, you know, talent is one thing in football. We know it's a cliche because it's true and it exists because it's true. You can have all the talent in the world. If you don't have the right attitude to go alongside it, your talent will be wasted. Paul Pogba was probably the biggest example we've had recently of that at Manchester United. Of course, there were other circumstances which affected it. It's not all on Paul Pogba before anybody tries to throw me under the bus there. But we've seen it at United. I think Ravel Morrison's a great example of it, of a player that had so much talent. We were so excited about him coming through, but he was surrounded by the wrong people, had the wrong advice in his ears. And it didn't work out for him. And I hope it's different with Garnacho. And Bruno Fernandes has spoken about it as well. Remember, this is after the game against Sociedad when Garnacho scored that scorcher of a goal.
The beginning of the season not at his best. In the tour he didn't have the best attitude that he should have, and that's why he didn't get his chances until now. He's getting his chances because he's training better, he's having a different attitude, and he's deserving his chances.
There you go. It goes to show Garnacho would have learned from that in the best way possible. And Bruno, you know, you saw how happy Bruno was for him to put in that sort of performance against Villa in the League Cup, and how happy United fans are as well. Because we're watching the birth of something brilliant. And this, I think, is a really important point to have a debate about here. This question. Should Garnacho be going to the World Cup? Well, not actually, it's not for us to decide. It's down to the Argentina coach. Do you think it's the best thing for Garnacho to go to the World Cup now, or to stay at Manchester United, to stay with Ten Hag, and to get more direct one-on-one coaching with Erik? This is what Erik said about him going to the World Cup. Because it's difficult to say. It's a big step to go to the World Cup. And I don't know if it's the right step. He has to keep his head clean, stay calm, work hard, and develop. Because, look, Garnacho at the age of 18, he's broken through. He's won the FA Youth Cup. He was a star performer there. He's trained and played with Ronaldo. He's got a goal that was assisted by Ronaldo. He's trained with Argentina's senior team. All this by the age of 18. He's had a stellar, more than stellar, start to his career. But is the World Cup now the right thing for him? He's unlikely to get any minutes. He would love the occasion. He probably would love to be involved in it because it's Messi. He wants to be there for Messi's last World Cup. Of course he does. If you ask Alejandro Garnacho, it's a straightforward question. But that's what happens. That's why you need the right advice around you. It will all boil down to whether or not Argentina's coach wants to actually take him or not. And I suppose we won't. It's kind of out of Erik Ten Hag's hands. But I firmly believe that Erik Ten Hag is the perfect manager for Garnacho. The perfect manager to manage his early career, his breakthrough, when to use him, when maybe to take him out. And he'll do it delicately and he'll do it correctly because he has experience of doing it with other players. De Jong, De Ligt, Van der Beek, Timber, Gravenberch. Ten Hag knows how to manage youngsters and help them that transition from academy football into first team football into you're a star. He's done it on more than one occasion. And I think Garnacho's been listening to him. That's why his attitude has changed and improved. And look at the chances he's getting and the breakthrough he's having now. The proof's in the pudding. But I'll be interested to see what happens across the course of the season. But isn't it wonderful to see an academy prospect like Garnacho doing what he's doing, and we're just going to get to witness the birth of it. Nothing better. Nothing better. And honestly, I mean that hand on heart. All the big signings in the world, you can keep them if we can get players like Garnacho breaking through and lighting up the stage. Let me know what you think about how Ten Hag is going to manage Garnacho. What a prospect. What a star in the making he is. And as I said, I think the timing is perfect. For Ten Hag to be Garnacho's manager at this point in his career, I'm not sure he could ask for anything better.